I'm Jo, and today Epic Reads and I have an amazing lineup of LGBTQIA+ friendly books to share with you. We are so excited to be celebrating Epic Pride, which is their amazing Pride Month campaign together. As a bisexual woman, I am always looking to add some more queer books to my collection, and if that is also of interest to you, I'm happy to report that I've got some great recommendations coming your way. First up, we have I Can't Even Think Straight by Dean Atta. This is a YA contemporary queer coming-of-age story, but with a unique twist, and that is that this is actually written in verse. So what this means is that the author is going to provide us with a narrative like a typical novel would, but will do so by utilizing the craft of poetry. We meet Kai, a young guy who is at a pretty important decision-making point in his life. It's the beginning of a new school year, and with that comes some major considerations. First, a question that all of us struggle with at some point: what does he want to do with his life? And who is he interested in dating? And when, if at all, does he want to come out as gay? And that last question does have an extra layer for Kai to contemplate, because he previously made a promise to his best friend Matt that they'd stay in the closet together, aka not come out as part of the LGBT community. In the end though, Matt decides that he is still just not ready to come out, and Kai decides that he is. And once Kai does share his true self with the world, he does start dating someone named Obi, but he realizes that the relationship isn't everything that he maybe had hoped for, and so he does have to consider that the love he's looking for might be somewhere or with someone else that he didn't initially expect. Next up, we are shifting gears to a sapphic YA historical fantasy. This is Ladies' Night by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner, and this takes place in the England of medieval legend. We have two female main characters, and they are Gwen and Isabel. Let's start with Gwen. At the point in life when we do meet her, she has got a lot of secrets festering, one of which is that she is keeping it hidden that she has taken over all of her father's blacksmithing duties. Then there's the secret that she is attracted to girls, and there's also the secret of her dream life pathway, which is becoming a knight. And then we have Lady Isabel of Abington, and it seems like she's lived a pretty comfortable life and has done so feeling content in being exactly who she is. Until now, because now she's being offered up as the grand prize to the winning knight of something called the Tournament of Dragon Slayers, and Isabel starts to realize that although she has been able to talk her way out of trouble before, that's not gonna work this time. It's when Isabel discovers that Gwen dreams of being a knight that a plan is formed, and the plan is that Gwen will dress up as a male knight and try to win the tournament. And if she does win the tournament, that means glory for herself and freedom for Isabel. But on the other hand, losing would bring some pretty dire consequences. And then there's the little complication that none of us really plan for, and that is the possibility of maybe, possibly falling in love. In Case You Read This by Edward Underhill is a YA contemporary rom-com about the ultimate misconnection featuring the found family trope, which is of course my favorite trope of all time. First we meet Arden, and he is from the Los Angeles area, where it felt easy for him to sort of fit in and to find a supportive queer community. Now he's moving to a small town in Michigan. And the fear is settling in as he realizes that sense of safety and being who he truly is might be impacted by this location change. And then we meet Gabe, who is in almost the exact same position as Arden, but in reverse. He's actually leaving his small town in Illinois and moving out to Pasadena, California, with the goal of being out and proud and totally himself. It is in the lobby of this motel in Nebraska that the two boys meet, and this clandestine meeting feels like nothing short of fate to them. They both realize that they are massive fans of the same band, and more importantly, that they can bond over the fact that they are both trans. But the pair leaves the motel and the bond that they've created there only knowing each other's first names. And as Gabe and Arden start these new lives in these new cities, they can't stop thinking about their time together. So we'll just have to read to find out if the universe brings them back together on its own, or if they need some help finding their way to each other again. This one here is That Devil Ambition by Lindsay Miller. It is a YA standalone dark academia with some thriller and fantasy elements, and it says in the description that it's perfect for fans of Ava Reed and V.E. Schwab, so I have a feeling I'm going to absolutely love this one. This story takes place at an elite school that is known for creating as many magicians as it does graves, and our main character Fabian is first in his class, and also last in his noble line. If he wants any hope of a good future, he must pass a certain honors class, but of course, there are some twists with this requirement. Firstly, only the very best 13 students will even be offered to attend the class, and secondly, there is only one assignment, but that singular assignment is to kill the professor of the class. And as if this task is not daunting enough, the professor is not some ordinary human. It is a devil that has been summoned for the singular purpose of killing or being killed. It's up to Fabian and his two best friends to accomplish this wild schoolwork, utilizing any and every asset they can think of to survive. Succeeding in this assignment does mean that all student debt is forgiven, but failing, on the other hand, means that the students' lives are forfeit. Next up, from the author of a personal favorite of mine, Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda, comes Amelia If Only by Becky Albertalli. This is a YA contemporary that centers around a teen girl named Amelia. Like so many of us, Amelia has a favorite YouTuber that she absolutely has a parasocial relationship with, and Amelia maybe just so happened to invite him to prom. It's just that she has this deep feeling that if the two were able to truly connect in real life, that sparks would just fly. So Amelia is determined to convince her best friend Natalie to join her in one last high school hurrah, meeting Walter, before graduation. But in many ways, Natalie seems to be the opposite of Amelia. She's newly single, she plays the guitar, she is almost always cynical. As Amelia and Natalie's pre-graduation adventure leads to meeting Walter, Amelia comes face to face with a question she didn't expect. What if the butterflies she's feeling aren't actually for Walter after all? Let Them Stare is a YA contemporary with mystery and fantasy elements, and this one is written by Jonathan Van Ness, Emmy Award winner for Queer Eye, and Julie Murphy, #1 New York Times bestselling author, so we have quite the duo. And this one is all about discovering the secrets and the beauty of your own hometown. Our main character, Sully, is 18, gender non-conforming, and ready to get out of their small town. And in said small town, there's only one other gay person around their age, and this person is named Brad, and Sully just kind of finds Brad to be quite boring. Sully sells their car to Brad, likely with the plan of never seeing him again, and in a big city, on the other hand, Sully has secured a fashion internship. Or at least that's until the internship falls through somehow. So desperate for any sense of joy, Sully heads to their local thrift store, which is sort of like a personal sanctuary for them, and it's here that they stumble upon a vintage bag that, if it can be authenticated, could resell for enough money to start a new life in the city. But this bag leads to more than Sully bargained for when they find themselves literally haunted. A ghost named Rufus appears, and he is a drag performer from the 50s who has no memory of how he died. This completely flips Sully's goals around, and now the focus is on helping Rufus understand his past to move on into the afterlife, and therefore free this thrift store find from this haunting so that Sully can sell this bag and get the money they need to move to the city. Brad, the new owner of Sully's previous car, becomes the local chauffeur to Sully and by default Rufus, and as they spend more time together, Sully starts to wonder if maybe Brad isn't as boring as they once thought. And as Sully learns more about the history of their small town through Rufus, they discover that there might be more to this place than they ever could have expected. If you're a fan of poetry like I am, this next one is for you. This is Knucklehead by author, spoken word poet, and hip-hop educator Tony Keith Jr. This collection of poems was specifically created with young black boys in mind, who the author refers to affectionately as knuckleheads, to cover the hugely layered topic of masculinity and specifically what that looks like for black youth. Now, we've all likely heard the term knucklehead being used before, with the meaning behind it being someone, often a child, who has some type of attitude problem. The author utilizes his craft to force us, the readers, to expand on this narrow train of thought, maneuvering us into a place of empathy for young people who feel misunderstood. Just as there is power in the societal constructs that often prejudge black boys, there is also power in language. It definitely feels like a journey through self-discovery, and that it was put out into the world with a wonderful and important goal in mind, and I would like to read the back of this to you. It says, "Don't sleep, knucklehead. We've been doing this for centuries. Don't let the past, present, and future state of this nation force you into a state of mental hibernation. You have the right to be awakened. You have a right to make decisions. You have a voice at the table. You need not ever ask for permission." So yeah, this is immediately the top of my TBR. Last up for today's book haul is a YA fantasy graphic novel called Nimona by N.D. Stevenson, and this is the beautiful 10th anniversary edition. We even have some sprayed edges there. Our main character, like the title states, is named Nimona, and she is a young shapeshifter who tends to lean into things like impulsivity and even a little bit of villainy. Then we have Lord Ballister Blackheart, who has a vendetta, and as so many villains do, needs a sidekick, which is where Nimona comes in. Their mission is to prove that the people at the institution of law enforcement aren't heroes, even though everyone seems to think that they are. But as they work to complete this task, Lord Blackheart realizes that Nimona's powers and her past are more mysterious than he predicted, and this factor could lead to more danger than he planned for. And because this is the 10th anniversary edition, there is an exclusive epilogue not seen in the webcomic, there are some revised pages, and you can also find some bonus sketches. And that is it for today's YA Pride book haul. Thank you so much for joining us. In the comments, be sure to tell us what you're currently reading and which books from this haul you're looking forward to. Happy Pride, and we hope to see you in the next one. Bye!